Darkness will prevail, and the light expire.
So yo, what is up, Kingdom Hearts fans? It's your boy Mazia here, and today we're going to be getting into my own personal theory and my own shocking theory as to who the Hooded Man is. Now, the reason why I call it shocking and personal is because, of course, I feel like I'm probably the only person who thinks this so far, and of course, I'm going to share my reasons with you guys, and of course, there's no real evidence as to who this guy really is. We can only go off of what we have in the trailer and pretty much some speculation and pretty much reaching that, of course, this guy is potentially a character that we know of already, whether that be Xehanort, whether that be the Sixth Apprentice, anybody. We don't know who this guy is. This guy haven't given us any type of information on what his plans are, so we definitely can't draw any type of real comparisons in that sense of course trying to say, well, this character has this same goal too, so we can definitely concur that he may be this character. So there is nobody that we can pretty much point out, but one character that I feel like shares a lot of similarities to the dude that we see in the trailer, of course, since we finally get a voice, since we finally get some motion from him, I'm definitely gonna have to go with Brig. Yes, the dude that's pretty much been in almost every Kingdom Hearts game thus far. Brig, definitely, I believe it's him. I can't stress enough how much this guy and of course Brig actually have these similarities in their personality. So I'm gonna go ahead and break down some of those things for you guys. Now, one of the things that's definitely seen connected to these two characters is their quick snaps or their quips. You know, when the guy in the trailer was asked, isn't it our duty to stop this Keyblade War from happening? Isn't it our duty as Keyblade wielders to stop this war from happening? And he's like, nah, not possible. This is something that seems similar to what Brig would say. Let's take, for instance, when he was inside of that room, or inside of that computer room with, of course, young Xehanort, with everyone else laying on the floor. Let's look at his response to pretty much the coming Keyblade War and what he says about how he feels about it. Now, they were talking and having a conversation, and Brig pretty much brings up this whole point to where he's kind of like, this is about that Keyblade War, right? Whatever. I got my hands tied with my own plans. So pretty much it kind of seems like the same thing, right? The dude in the trailer pretty much blows it off. He blows the Keyblade War off, and he pretty much tried to make it seem like it's imminent. It's something that's going to happen, and of course there's nothing that they can do about it, so they might as well be chill about it. And of course Brig, who's talking about the incoming Keyblade War, the one that's about to happen, not the one of the past, he pretty much blows it off too. He pretty much just says, I got my hands tied with my own plan, so I could care less about this Keyblade War. Now, why would he care less about a Keyblade War that he's been working with Xehanort for 10 plus years to make sure that this war actually does in fact come to fruition? Because when you think about it, Xehanort had all of these possibilities planned out from the beginning. None of this, besides the future, as he says, which lies beyond his sight now, none of this was all done by chance. Xehanort has led all of this to happening, and of course Brig has been right there by his side ever since he set the plan in motion when he came to Radiant Garden. Now, there's another similarity between these two characters, and this is where I'm gonna kind of start reaching, but you may be able to understand where I'm coming from. Now, if this guy is the Sixth Apprentice, we know that the Sixth Apprentice was not chosen. Now, if the Sixth Apprentice was not chosen, and the rest of the characters or the rest of the foretellers were chosen, or the rest of the apprentices were chosen, the other 5, then of course we can take into the thought, or we should look at the possibility of this Sixth Apprentice having some type of envy for Keyblade wielders. Because what if the Sixth Apprentice really isn't a Keyblade wielder? What if Master Xehanort's Keyblade was supposed to be the Keyblade that was supposed to be passed down to the Sixth Apprentice, but he didn't even get that? He didn't even get a Keyblade. So definitely, we don't know. So there's no way anyone can say, oh, he does have a Keyblade. Just because the Keyblade looks similar doesn't mean it was necessarily his Keyblade. Remember, he's not chosen. And of course, we have another character that's like this inside of Kingdom Hearts, and that's Sora. Sora wasn't chosen by a Keyblade, and of course the fact that he wasn't chosen makes Brig actually tempt him and actually tease him about this fact. Now, of course, Brig also has some type of lure or some type of allure to the Keyblade, so he wants to get a Keyblade Keyblade. For some reason, he has his own plans to try and get the power of the Keyblade. So much so, I guess you could say he was willing to share his being with Xehanort. And this is why, of course, he's so proud to just say, me, I'm already half Xehanort. Like, you see what I'm saying? He already feels proud to have, like, you know, that part of Xehanort inside of him. And what if this part of Xehanort that he let get put inside of him is because he wants to acquire that Keyblade, because that Keyblade was supposed to be his all of those years ago. And of course, now that he finally has found his Keyblade again, and he actually knows who's in possession of his Keyblade, he's now accepted a heart of someone who was chosen, meaning that, of course, when there's no one else that this Keyblade can potentially go to, he'll get this power. Now, of course, as Briggs stated, he has his own plans. And what if his own plans is to betray Xehanort and get rid of all of the other 13 Seekers, have them all be eliminated, so that way that Keyblade will come to him. He wants to achieve the power of the Keyblade. And of course, with the 6th apprentice not being chosen, if that means he didn't have a Keyblade, then that would mean Briggs is finally in the position that he's been waiting on for all of these years, that he didn't care for the Keyblade War to happen, because of course he's not a Keyblade wielder. Why would he care? Why would he get into the affairs of Keyblade wielders if he was never chosen or given that power by the Master of Masters? He doesn't care. He doesn't care about the despair that's brought to his friends. He doesn't care about his fellow apprentices falling into darkness. And of course, it seems like the same thing with Briggs too, if that's what his own plans actually are, to make sure that Xehanort actually falls, so that way he'll get his hands on the Keyblade that he should have received all of those years ago. I don't know if this sounds reasonable or if this sounds possible to the rest of you guys. The only thing I can really say is that, of course, how in the hell would Briggs have survived for this long? And we all know that Briggs has some type of space distortion and stuff like that. You can clearly see it inside of his battles. But one of the most important things to me that I feel like definitely could make this dude a possibility of being Briggs is the way how he teases Keyblade wielders. Like, Keyblade wielders, he always tempts them for some reason. He always make them seem like, of course, they're beneath him. He always want to make them seem beneath him in some way, form, or fashion. But at the same time, he wants to achieve the power of the Keyblade. There's a reason why he's like this, and definitely I would love to see, of course, Briggs be this guy. But let me know what you guys think about this theory. Do you think it's a little too far-fetched, D, or do you think that, of course, this theory is possible? I mean, anything is possible with this guy. We don't even know if he's the 6th apprentice. We just know that he's someone who's lingering around the foretellers, and that's why everyone is saying he's the 6th apprentice. He could easily be someone else, and the 6th apprentice could easily already have the land of departure, or already has brought together Cabletown. He could have easily had already left. Once he wasn't chosen, he could have left. He could have done other things. But if this is the 6th apprentice, and if Briggs is the 6th apprentice in any way, form, or fashion, or he could even be like some type of reincarnation of him or something of the sorts. What do you guys think about this? I think it's definitely possible, and if you don't think it's possible, hit me up in the comment section below with your reasoning. And of course, this has been your boy Mousy. Don't forget to do a little A-class gaming, and everything you do, don't forget to keep it A-class, and I'll catch you guys in the next one, man. Peace the heck